Hi guys, I'm Farisha from Team Graduan, and I'm proud to tell you that the virtual Malaysian Career Fair is back this 26 to 28 March. Get ready to meet and interact with leading Malaysian employers from the comfort of your home. Here's how you can register to the Malaysian Career Fair. First of all, visit the malaysiancareerfair.co.uk and click Register Now on the top right corner. Fill in the necessary details. The red asterisks indicate compulsory fields. And this includes your resume. Let us know your top 6 preferred employers and click Confirm. Leading Malaysian employers can now view your resume and interact with you. Easy, wasn't it? You can even register through the Graduan app. Here's how. Just download the Graduan app on the Play Store or App Store. Click on the Events tab and click the Malaysian Career Fair. Fill in the details required. Once done, verify your email and complete the Graduan profile. Employees can't see your account if you don't complete your profile. It's that simple. Get online this 26 to 28 March to meet leading Malaysian employers. Change your life to meaningful careers today! Hi guys, I'm Farisha from Team Graduan, and I'm proud to tell you that the virtual Malaysian Career Fair is back this 26 to 28 March. Get ready to meet and interact with leading Malaysian employers from the comfort of your home. Here's how you can register to the Malaysian Career Fair and begin the hunt for your dream job. First of all, visit the malaysiancareerfair.co.uk and click Register Now on the top right corner. Fill in the necessary details. The red asterisks indicate compulsory fields. And this includes your resume. Let us know your top 6 preferred employers and click Confirm. Leading Malaysian employers can now view your resume and interact with you. Easy, wasn't it? You can even register through the Graduan app. Here's how. Just download the Graduan app on the Play Store or App Store. Click on the Events tab and click the Malaysian Career Fair. Fill in the details required. Once done, verify your email and complete your Graduan profile. Employees can't see your account if you don't complete your profile. It's that simple. Get online this 26 to 28 March to meet leading Malaysian employers. Change your life to meaningful careers today.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for tuning in. I'm Yunwei, executive in the UKE Careers Office, and I will be your MC for this session. So for this webinar, PwC's Assurance Manager, Edward Tsao, and Associate, Farah Ednina, will be coming together to tell us more about the working life at PwC. I'm sure most of you will have a lot of questions, so do put them in the chat box, and our moderator will be directing the questions to them later. Additionally, if you're updating today's event on any of your social medias, do tag us at UKEC and at Graduan, as we'd love to see them. So without further ado, I'll pass the floor over to Edward to kickstart the session. So Edward, over to you.
Thanks, Yinwei. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in as well. A little bit of background. Our talk today will be on PwC, Breaking the Perception, where the normal perception would be you need to be an accounting graduate to join the Big Four. And we will explain to you why that is not. It's beneficial, but it's not exactly necessary. But before that, I will give you a little bit of introduction about myself. My name is Edward. I'm an assurance manager in PwC Malaysia. I studied in the UK as well. I'm from the University of the West of England, about 50 to 100 years ago. Um, and that's pretty much about me. I will pass the floor to Farah to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, so I'm Farah. I graduated from the University of Nottingham with a degree in biomedical sciences, and I'm currently an assurance associate at PwC.
Right. So again, the topic of today's talk will be breaking the perception. And Farah is a perfect example of how you don't necessarily need an accounting degree to to work in PwC. And we'll be bringing through our program called the Aspiring Accountant Program, AAP. So first of all, Farah, I would like to maybe you can help us understand better. Why did you decide to join this course?
Right, so when I first told my family, my friends, that I wanted to join AAP at PwC, naturally everybody's first reaction was like, why? Because for the longest time, I've always been learning science subjects. I was in science stream in high school and I did a degree in biomed and then I graduated. And for most graduates, the most logical career choice would be one that was related to what you majored in based on your degree, right? But for me, I felt that I didn't want to start my career in biomed because most of the jobs would heavily involve R&D, so you would have to be doing research in the lab the whole day. So there's not really a chance of you to go out and meet new people. Whereas I'm the type of person who has to go out and meet new people and work with other people as well, instead of just being in the lab the whole day. So that's what I knew. So I started exploring other career options and I came across accounting because I also had friends in uni who studied accounting as well. And some of them even interned at accounting firms as well. So I was told a lot of great things. But one of the things that really sparked my interest was the fact that when you're an auditor, you get really good exposure since we get to work with a lot of different clients from so many different industries. So you always have the chance to learn something new. So that's what really appealed to me. But as we all know, unfortunately, most accounting careers, they would require a degree in finance and accounting, which I didn't have. But I still kept searching until one day I came across PwC's Aspiring Accountants program. So basically, it's a program that's specially made for non-accounting graduates like myself. So when I saw that, I immediately thought, this is my chance to finally step out of my comfort zone and try something completely different to what I'm used to. So I decided to apply, and yeah, here I am today.
And you've been with the firm for how long?
About 2.5 years. Yeah.
And when you joined, I suppose there were a lot of people that came in with you. You weren't the only one, correct?
Yeah, correct. I was hired together with a whole batch of non-accounting grads. So I also had a friend who did biomed like myself. I have a few friends who did economics, engineering, business management, chemistry, basically so many different backgrounds. Yeah.
That's fair. So, but since you come in so alienated to the accounting world, I'm sure the firm has given you a little bit of support as to how you can acclimatize and accommodate you into fitting in, being a non-accounting graduate. So what kind of support did PwC Malaysia give you?
So before we started working, we were actually enrolled in an accounting course for a month. So during that time, we just attended classes every day to basically learn the fundamentals of accounting, since most of us have never taken an accounting subject before. So it was all completely new to us. So, of course, at the beginning, I did have trouble grasping all the concepts because it was all so foreign to me. but I kept asking my lecturer questions, and I made friends with my batchmates as well. So we actually started studying together after class. So it felt a lot like I was back in uni again. And so we kept doing that, and finally everything clicked. So we did that for the whole month, and we also got to learn a little bit about assurance and tax as well. And then at the end of the month, we had to sit for a graded exam. But of course, since we do have to take a lot of classes and a lot of exams, thankfully, all these classes and exams, they're all fully sponsored by the firm. So we wouldn't have to worry about that. But so once you finish the course, you're not expected to suddenly know everything. So of course, when you first get assigned to your first engagement, you can inform your manager and your seniors that you're not an accounting graduate. So then they will give you more guidance and a little extra attention to make sure that you're doing okay. So I'm really grateful that I had a really good support system here in the firm as well. So my fellow associates, my seniors, my managers, my batchmates, because of course, as a non-accounting grad, there are a lot of things that we don't really know that other accounting graduates might know. So I'm really thankful that so far all the teams that I've worked with, they're so patient with me and they really do take their time to teach me everything and make sure that I understand everything as well. And of course, my batchmates were always asking each other questions and we're always there for each other because we're basically all on the same boat here. So yeah, they're all always there for me since day one up until now. Yeah.
So you say that this is the spot that PwC has given you through accounting classes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So perhaps you can try to explain to us how have you managed to cope with both working, studying, taking exams at the same time? Shed a little bit of light on that for us, please.
Right. So I'm working full time on weekdays and I study part time as well. So I have classes on weekends, but it's not the whole year, it's just certain periods of the year we would have classes. So we do get entitled to study leave and exam leave closer to the day of the exam. So I usually inform my bosses beforehand, and they do respect the fact that you have to take study leave and ensure that you're not interrupted with any work obligations during your time off. So during the time that I go for my study leave, I'll make sure that I really focus on my studying. I revise everything that I've learned throughout all my classes. And of course, I'll have study sessions as well with my friends because it makes studying a lot more fun and a lot more bearable, I suppose. But the key thing that I've learned is definitely know how to manage your time well, because sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming because you have to juggle work and studying at the same time. So for me, what I would usually do is, for example, I'll set a time for myself. Like today, I'll get my work done by this time, and then I'll stop working. I'll take a little break, and then I'll start studying so that at least I have a clear mind and I'm able to learn and absorb everything better as well. So you definitely need to know your limits. And although it may be good to push yourself, you really have to make sure that you take care of yourself as well. Because what's most important is definitely your mental well being and, of course, your physical health as well. So make sure you get a lot of rest. And if you think that you need regular breaks, you should totally do that. And of course, treat yourself when you feel like you've achieved something, because you definitely deserve that, because it's all not easy and it'll motivate you to work harder as well.
That's very nice to hear. Thank you for sharing that. So all in all, what do you think the AAP has taught you? What do you think you have learned from the program that you would like to share with the crowd?
There's definitely a lot of things that I've learned from this program, but one of the most important things I've learned is anything can be done when you set your heart and mind to it. as long as you have the right attitude and the motivation to do it as well. Because if you feel like you want to try out the program, you just have to take the shot. And even if you find that it doesn't suit you, you still have your degree to fall back on. And you can always pursue a career that's more relevant to your degree later on. But without this program, I never would have realized that I was capable in doing something so different from what I studied. And I'm grateful that I had the courage to take this step. But of course, I wouldn't be able to do it without the support that I have here, because I've learned that it's really important to build good relationships with your colleagues, because usually in audit, we're assigned to a few different engagements in a year. So we're always working with new teams and we'll get to meet a lot of different people. But for me, I do also have a few people that I'm especially close to, some of my seniors and managers. So I know that I can look for these people anytime if I have any doubts or if I have any help in work. Even though we're not currently working together on the same engagement, I know that they're always around to help me. So having them around makes me realize that even if the job gets tough sometimes, I'm not alone in this journey. And yeah, that's what really keeps me going.
It's very nice to hear. So maybe from your perspective, do you think that your major of study helped you in any way in your journey in PwC?
Since I studied biomed, unfortunately, I haven't been assigned to any engagements which are relevant to the pharmaceutical industry. But if I did have such an engagement, I think I'd be able to understand certain aspects of the industry and products better than another associate with the same level of experience. But assuming you have a degree in engineering, you may be better versed in the property development industry, or maybe even oil and gas if you study chemical or petroleum engineering. But don't be worried if you don't get assigned to engagements which are related to your field, because it's definitely not the end of the world. You will be given enough support to learn what you need to know on the job from your superiors. But I think also from my personal experience, my degree did help in a way that's not really related to understanding the client's business better. But it's just that I guess because my degree had a lot of research projects, I was so used to doing research and reading up things on my free time. So that really helped me when I was learning when I first started, because there were a lot of things that when I read it, I was like, okay, why is it like this? So I have to search it up myself and basically read I'll Google everything and then I'll ask my seniors about it. So at least I do have a rough idea before I ask them anything. So yeah, I think that really helped my journey and my learning easier a little as well.
Okay. So now I would like to speak from my perspective as an audit manager in PwC. Farah is not my only AAP hiring. I have a few. I have another girl who studied, I think she actually hit masters or she has a doctorate in psychology. I have another guy who actually has a master's in engineering. So I have been exposed to dealing with AAP graduates, and it's interesting when I actually let's take Farah for example. I met her randomly in the office one day because she looked a little lost. So I was just trying to help her get around, asking her what she's looking for. Apparently, it was her first week in PwC. So uh, brought her to what she was looking for, and she had a small chat with her. I learned from her that she was supposed to be in my department, and was asking whether I had any jobs to put her in. So I went to talk to our allocation team. They got her on board, and it was only after that I found out Farah was actually in the AAP. So prior to that, I actually never heard of the AAP. So I went to understand a bit more. I found out that she's not an accounting grad, but she'll be, like what she mentioned earlier, she'll be going through the courses, taking a quick examination, and eventually doing her professional papers as well. And all of this is supported by the firm. So I found that to be quite interesting actually. I've actually recommended like cousins and siblings out there if let's say they want to try something not related to their course, they can always try this program as well. So Farah has actually been working with me for about 2.5 years, off and on, give or take.
Yeah.
Mm. So when she first came into my job, I also did give a senior a little heads up that she's not from accounting background. So be kind to her a little bit. Uh, don't just throw debits and credits at her, assuming that she will understand on the spot. So, so far, how about you explain to us, like, what was your experience dealing with your first senior for the first time in your first engagement?
Yeah, so my senior, the first thing that she asked me was, what did you study? And I had to tell her the whole story about what I studied, why I'm here, and everything. And then she was like, okay. So she actually found it very interesting. And as she started assigning sections to me to work on, she would always teach me everything beforehand. She'll go through everything with me. And yeah, basically she'll teach me everything, all the basic things that will probably help me to do my work. And yeah, whenever I have any trouble, I'll just go on and ask her anything, and she'll never say, okay, I don't want to teach you this. Why can't you just go read it yourself or anything like that? So she'll always sit down with me, and she'll go through everything one by one. And she really does make sure that I understand and I can ask her any silly questions there are, and she doesn't judge me for it. She'll just answer me everything. So yeah, it was really helpful. She was really helpful to me, and that was my first ever senior. And thankfully, pretty much most of the seniors that I've worked with were like that as well. Yeah.
So you worked on my same engagement when you first joined, and you left to do something else, and you came back again the following financial year. So maybe you want to give a little explanation on what was the difference. What do you feel from your first year and your second year doing the same engagement? At least it's the same client, but you were very different from day one, and of course 1 year later. Perhaps you can shed some light on that.
Yeah, I guess because by that time I was already working for a whole year. So I have learned a lot more things rather than when I first joined. I was still really clueless. Even though I took the course, it took me time to apply everything in real life as well. So after a year, I started getting used to it. And especially since I worked on the same client again, I was very familiar with their business, and I was familiar with the clients as well. So it was easy to talk to them about anything. But also, since I was returning as an experienced associate, I did get more senior roles. I did get tougher sections to deal on. So yeah, I still had to learn new things. And again, my senior did teach me all those things as well. So it was definitely a lot easier than my first year when I first joined. But even then, there were still a lot of things that I could learn.
If I remember correctly, we also put an intern under your care, right? In your second
Oh,
year.
yeah. Yeah, correct.
So from being clueless in your first year, in your second year,
Yep.
you actually had to start guiding somebody instead. So
Yeah.
what did that feel like? I suppose you were a lot more confident in your second year to think that you are more able to do this. You have the experience already. You no longer can say that you are a non-accounting grad. You have been an associate for 1 year. You pretty much know what you're doing, what you've been doing, and you've been coached as well. So did you feel comfortable coaching someone else under you?
Yeah, that was actually my first time ever coaching someone. And yeah, since it was a client that I have worked with before, I did feel more confident because most of the things that I was teaching my intern, it was the things that I've done before the previous year. So it's all the things that I've looked at and things I'm already familiar with. So I was able to teach my interns as well. Yeah.
So this is what I would like to share. In PwC, we have a very strong coaching culture. We always make sure that it's our prerogative that our associates are not led astray, regardless of what background they come from. They could be from accounting, they could be from like Farah's case, biomed, they could be like from psychology, like my other team member. As long as we know what background you come from, even if we don't, if you are struggling, we are always willing to teach. Even more so if you're not from an accounting background, we won't leave you hanging. We will make sure that you are well equipped. First, the firm will make sure that you're well equipped to understand accounting, and the rest of us, your managers, your seniors, will be responsible and will do it willingly to make sure that you are also equipped to do audit, to grow in the firm, to the point you become like Farah. 1 year later, she's able to coach people under her from being a first-year associate the year before, being scared and clueless about venturing into a new world. So yeah, I think the course is very beneficial in general. It really gives people a second lease on life to try, like what Farah said earlier, something completely different from what you are familiar with. I'm sure Farah has studied science since she had to pick in Form 4 through her tertiary education, through graduating with a biomed degree. Who would have thought that she could come out and try to do accounting and finance, something related to accounting and finance, and well, now she's been in PwC for 2.5 years. So that's pretty much what we want to say. We just want to break that perception that the Big Four only hires people with accounting and finance background. We also hire people from random backgrounds, whatever degree you take. If you suddenly wake up one morning and decide, I want to work for the Big Four, I want to do something related to accounting and finance, then this is a course that will pretty much help you in that sense. And it's not just limited to joining audit. If you've heard stories about audit that makes you a bit reluctant to join audit, there are other positions as well that you can join. We have our risk assurance team that does IT audits, that does cybersecurity audits and a few other things. I think they also do internal audit. So there are other things you can do, which is not just limited to being an external auditor. So don't be afraid. Again, like what Farah said, you lose 100% of the shots that you don't take. So here's a shot. Even if you can't do it, you still have a degree to fall back on. If you still want to do it regardless, and you actually succeed, it's a whole new career path for you that you never imagined that you can do. So I suppose that's all I have to say about the course. Kent, are you on?
I'm here. Well, hello everybody. Well, quite interesting, right? Hearing everyone hearing about Farah's background and subsequently Edward as a coach, right? And how he have actually portrayed the coaching culture here within PwC. And I hope that, with the insights that Farah has brought to you, you are then able to kind of, think about a different career and different perspective if that's what you are looking for. And PwC would then be a place for that. And I think the more so or not, I think for graduates in the UK, right, to be very, very honest, hiring non-accounting background individuals to join the audit practice within PwC, especially in the UK, is not something that is new. In fact, they have had many non-accounting graduates in UK as well, where they don't necessarily need to do a degree in accounting, but subsequently moved on and pursue a career as a chartered accountant, or in that sense, an auditor. Okay, so hopefully with that, you are able to think about a career within PwC from a different perspective, and hopefully from there, this is something that you look forward to. Okay, now I guess with that, right, what will always be really interesting, right, is also of course to hear questions from the floor, right, and also with Edward and Farah here, I'm sure they will be able to share a lot more through the questions that's asked. And a few questions actually did came in through the graduate website itself, so I am going to go ahead and ask on behalf of the students. And maybe then for the first question that I wanted to kick off with, right, is actually directed to Farah. So Farah, Iman is asking, how often does PwC do a review on your progress under this program?
Well, actually, our review is pretty much the same as other associates as well, which is just yearly. Yeah, but we do have a lot of talks with our career coach from time to time just to make sure that everything's okay. We're doing fine with our studies, with our work. So yeah.
Okay, all right. And with that say, when you have your coaching sessions, right, does that happen only once a year? Or do you have
No.
a regular catch up with Edward as well? And maybe after Farah share, right, Edward, you can also share with us your coaching sessions with Farah and how much is that in relation with Farah's journey here, especially being a non-accountant, right?
Yeah, we do usually have a few catch-up sessions during the year. I think about maybe 4 times a year. But of course, since I am pretty close to Edward, we do always just catch up pretty often, to be honest.
I
Yeah,
see.
so he's always checking up on me, and I'm always asking him things as well. So yeah.
Okay. And Edward?
From my perspective, at the end of the day, it's all about what Farah mentioned in what she mentioned just now. She talked about building relationships. This is actually very important. You want to find someone that you can click with, that you're comfortable with, who is also a superior to you, so that even if you're not working with this person, it's like natural for you to just reach out and ask, hey, I'm not sure about this. Can you maybe help me shed some light, because my current senior is a bit busy to help me. And if let's say you have built this kind of relationships, there will be so many people in the firm who are willing to help you, even if they're not working with you. They'll take some time off, like 5-10 minutes, to just explain to you. Like in Farah's case, whenever she's unsure and it's quite a big topic that she needs to ask, she'll come and ask me. I mean, I will try to make myself available to help her, if not immediately within the day itself. So
Okay.
as long as you build that relationship, it's easy to get about. It's easy not to feel lost, and it's easy to feel like no matter what, there are people supporting you in the firm.
I see. Okay. And that's actually really encouraging to hear, right? Because coming from HR, I didn't want to outright spell out what is our coaching culture here. But, judging from it, you guys have actually spelled it all out by illustrating at PwC my growth journey, right? Where coaching, of course, will come anytime, anywhere. And subsequently, at the same time, right, when we look at feedback, it is also the real-time feedback where you don't just do once in a year, right? Because, I mean, come on, let's be for real, guys. We can't even remember really what we ate last week, right? So some more feedback for something that was done a year ago. So hence we do a lot of this real-time feedback where we do a normal quick take 5 to kind of discuss on actually what went well and what didn't went well. And then subsequently, hopefully with that, that will also improve our performance eventually in the longer run. Okay, and I'm really encouraged to hear that that's also being practiced rather than just during the formal coaching session, right? Then only you actually go through that coaching session with Farah. Okay, so hopefully, Iman, that kind of answers the question. Then I guess the second question as well, right? Is also directed to Farah. So Farah, other than your degree, what else did you do, right, to prepare yourself or upskill yourself for the industry? And maybe with that, I'm also going to add, a follow-up question to Edward after Farah's answer, right? Is that you as a coach for Edward, how did you, help prepare Farah as well for her journey in PwC and to transition, especially from a non-accounting background? Okay, maybe we'll start off with you first, Farah.
Okay, so yeah, when I first started, I definitely had to do a lot of reading on my own. Whenever I see something new to me, I'll always Google it, or we always have we have resources within the firm as well to refer to. So I'll always read that, and I'll ask my managers as well. But
Okay.
also, basically, when I studied the course before entering, usually I would refer back to those notes even, because sometimes they can be really helpful and help you on the job as well. Yeah.
I see. Okay. And Edward?
And the question was more related towards how I help Farah
Correct.
acclimatize in the job.
Right.
Actually, it's not just with Farah. I will do this with all my staff. Like what Ken was talking about just now. We always make sure that no one is lost in the firm. We are always trying to coach everybody. Whenever new people join my team, I will try to give them a background of what the company does, what the company is like, what do we focus on. So in Farah's case, I probably explain a little bit more because I can't just use accounting jargons. It wouldn't be fair to her. So, and also because she's a girl, I tend to use like examples related to online shopping. when I'm explaining, let's say, deposits and prepayments, cash
Okay.
on hand, that kind of thing. I mean, it's as long as it's relatable to you and it's in a very comfortable place, it would be so much easier for people to understand. So I think it helped her a bit also. It's just skewing the way I teach to depending on who I'm talking to.
I see. Okay. Okay. All right. That's great to hear. And I hope that helps to answer your question as well, Yenru. Okay. Now then, the third question is directed to Farah again. So what were some struggles you faced during the transition into accountancy, especially since life sciences degree have 0 math subjects? Wow, I'm also interested to know about that one.
Me too.
Okay. There were definitely a lot of things that, yeah, it's my first time seeing. The last time that I did math was in foundation, I think, and that was all very basic math. So, a lot of the things I would definitely, I don't know, it's just a lot of practice actually. And when your seniors teach you, I'll always go through them again a few times. So, of course, it was difficult because there were all these debit, credit. I had no idea what those were until I started the courses. And before that, I didn't really know what goes in financial statements as well. So it was definitely a lot of things that I've never seen before, but I managed to read up on it. I'll always ask, again, I'll ask my seniors and my managers as well. And I guess the fact that I studied with my friends, we're really close, my batchmates and I. So we're always discussing together, and everybody is always teaching each other something because there's some stuff that maybe I'm good at or some stuff that my other friend is good at. So we always teach each other all these things. So yeah, it really helped me with my initial struggles when I first started.
Okay. And actually follow, right? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Edward. Go ahead.
Sorry, if I may add,
Hmm.
I'm going to speak to you as an accounting and finance graduate when I first joined audit many years ago, that even being from an accounting and finance degree is not to say immediately when I start work in an audit firm, I know exactly what to do. So, I mean, having like what Farah said, the debits and the credits as a foundation kind of helps a little bit, but there's still a lot of things for me to learn because we're talking about taking something that's theoretical in your degree to applying it practically in your working environment. So it's not just because I come from an accounting and finance degree doesn't mean I really have that much of an upper hand. I just understand debits and credits better. When it comes to practical application, I'm almost on the same footing as Farah when I first started.
Okay. And actually really listening to the both of you, right? What I hear a lot is really about your learning agility, right? I think you never stop or shy away from learning when the time comes, okay? And I think that's, whether be it previously when you first started your career, right, Edward, or until even now when Farah is pursuing her career as an auditor. I think learning agility, it doesn't matter whether the pre-COVID or post-COVID, right? It will always be there. And it is that learning agility that really drives you to what you will be able to gain out of your career, and then subsequently, right, pursue on a career even though you did not come from that background. And I really strongly believe in this learning agility, right? Because it talks about when the time is there for you to learn, you learn. But when the time is there for you to unlearn, you unlearn. And then when the time is there for you to relearn, right? Relearn. Okay. And really then, that's key, right? Because nothing is gonna be constant, but rather change will be there, right? So I guess then, to a lot of the graduates that's actually listening out there, you need to be able to have that learning agility, right? To want to be able to do the things differently, or even to be able to pick up even field that is not even in your area as well on relevant to it. Okay. So okay, I think that question actually took a while. Okay, but let's move on to the next one. And this one is from Suraj, right? So Suraj actually asks, "Hi Farah, do you believe that the skills from your science-based degree were transferable, and this helped you adapt?"
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of my degree life involved a lot of research, and sometimes after I do my experiments, I would have to do a lot of data analysis, which is actually really related to what we're doing right now as well. In audit, we do a lot of analysis on our data. But yeah, I guess a lot of research, so I'll always read up on things. I'm so used to just reading up and like questioning everything whenever I don't understand something. Because even when I do experiments, I'll always wonder like, okay, why did it turn out this way and not this way? So I'm always used to wondering why and always reading up and finding the answers.
I see. Okay. Then okay. So here is a quick question from me, right? I think PwC has launched the digital fitness app, right? Have both of you used it?
Uh,
So maybe here is a little promotion, right, for PwC as well. Now, this digital fitness app is actually a quick app or tool, right, for individuals, even whether be it are you from PwC or not PwC. It is free for all right now, okay? And what that tool actually does, right, it allows you to read quick bite-sized content for you to be able to, stay relevant, right, in the field itself of what digital skills are all about, or what's currently popular in the digital front itself. And that's then really a tool, right, that can be able to help you to really upskill in terms of your knowledge. And I guess then, just a promotion that it is free, okay? If you haven't downloaded it, and you can go ahead and download it, and all you have to do is just go to the PwC Malaysia website and search for digital fitness app, and it's there available for you until 31st of July. Okay, so I would encourage all of you, right, to really take this opportunity to just go ahead and download it, and then after that, subsequently use it, and then hopefully then be able to gain insights and through the bite-sized content that we have there. Okay, now then the last question that we have received so far is actually a question about, right. I guess this can be applicable to both Farah and Edward. Maybe we will start with Farah first, right? Farah, how do you actually handle your stress since you need to work day and study at the same time? And I guess this work and stress, right, doesn't apply to just Farah. I guess even Edward will also probably have stress. I definitely also have stress as well, right? So then maybe from an auditor perspective, Edward can share. Then also from Farah as well, right? Non-accounting, but pursuing a career in audit as well. How do you manage your stress?
Okay, so I think for me, I have a lot of hobbies that I like to do. So whenever I'm stressed, I'll definitely just take a break for a while because I do need to de-stress for a bit before I actually, because sometimes it does affect my work if I'm not really thinking properly. So sometimes I'll go and, play with my cat, or I do enjoy baking, or sometimes I'll go out for a run because that really, really helps to de-stress as well. And yeah, I guess it's important to just have a hobby, just find something that you like that you can do on your free time. It can be watching Netflix, it can be cooking, it can be singing, anything, because all these things that I do really do help me to distress so that my life isn't just focused on just work and studying. I do do other things that I enjoy as well.
I see. Okay. And what, how about yourself, especially being a manager at PwC, right? How do you manage your stress?
Perhaps now is not a very good example because I think over time I learned to be more composed, learned to accept a lot of things going wrong more, learned to be more preemptive also due to experience. But when I was around Farah's level, like an associate towards a senior, I think at that level, the most important way to manage stress is to have the right company around you. Because when you join an audit firm, everyone's about the same age. You come in batches of 20 to 40 half the time. And again, all of you are more or less the same age, have the same, you may or may not have the same interests. So I remember when I was an associate and sometimes we unfortunately have to work late once in a while. We just sit beside each other in the office and we just ask each other, so how's work? Like that, lor. Yule, like that, then we just laughed about it and we just continue working. So just that few second break was enough to just take my mind off, release it for a while, and after that I can continue working again. So the right company I feel is very important. Make the right friends. You can rant to them just to get things off your chest. Then it helps you quite a lot also.
Yeah. And I totally agree with that, right? Because I mean, I don't know if anyone can tell me that job is not stressful, right? So if a job that's not stressful, right, then I'm also quite curious to what job that is. Okay, I'm also keen to find out more. But I guess with taking your stress can come many ways, right? And I generally prefers, to spend time alone, okay, and at the same time also listen to music, right, to kind of take things off my mind for a while, so that I can go back to work and continue and focus on it. But I think also thanks to a firm like PwC, right, where there is a lot of flexibility that's given, and I wanted to highlight a couple, right, such as flex space. I think the more so or not, that's more important now, right? In this time of pandemic that we're facing, simply because now working at home at the same place for over a year can be quite stressful, at least for me, right? Because we used to be able to go wander around in the office, even though it's the same building, but there are different floors, right? And I really, really miss that. But now at home, sorry, they only have your one home, right? And you can't wander so many floor. And even if you wander around, you can't find friends as well. You can only see your walls within your four walls, right? So being able to work flexibly anywhere, that then became a privilege for me, right? So sometimes I would decide to, say, for example, start work at a cafe, and that really actually makes things very different, and even the motivation and so forth. So that's one way of me trying to make the most out of the flexibility that's given by the firm. And I think, to me as well, the timing is also quite important, because I know some prefers a 9 to 5 job, right? I really don't, because I don't want to be bounded by just hours, right? But rather, I prefer to work when I need to, and then that flexibility is also given to me, and it's really thanks to this organization that has given that flexibility in the work, and then allowing us to do that. Okay, so that's then ultimately some of the ways that sometimes, okay, this one stays here, right, because you guys joined the session, but even sometimes I maybe take a bit of a longer lunch as well if needed, if that day is kind of stressful. Okay, I don't really I don't really have to clock in, or 12 to 1 is lunchtime, then it will just be 12 to 1. Sometimes I do take a bit of a longer lunch, but at the end of the day, I think the key important point here, right, is your output, okay, and your performance. And no matter what you how where you do your work, or the hours you spend, right, at the end of the day, it is the output. So that's really important, okay, and that to me is quite cool. The interest that I have in this organization, okay. So then let's move on to the next question that we have just received. Okay, now Farah, since you are part of the assurance department, right, for 2.5 years, do you have plans to explore other departments within PwC with the experience you have gained? If so, are there any departments that have caught your eye? Quite controversial question, but okay. I mean, I'll let you answer that.
Okay, to be honest, I actually feel I'm quite happy in the department that I'm in right now, because even in my department, we do so many different types of clients, and some which I haven't had the chance to do as well, because there's so many industries. Because basically mine is pretty much covering consumer, industrial products and services. So it can be anywhere from retail, it can be automotives, it can be healthcare, property development. And I've only done very few of these, whereas I feel that I can pretty much explore a lot more industries within my department itself. So I think I would want to stay here for a few more years probably, and see how it goes from there.
I see. Okay. And how about for you, Edward? What kept you staying on in audit, you know, for
For
this
so long.
many years. Mm.
I feel audit, the most interesting thing about audit in general is the capacity to look at so many different things. I've spoken to friends who, when they graduated, they actually didn't come into practice. They went to industry. So they joined maybe company A and they've been doing finance in company A for the past 5 to 10 years. So their side I felt was very limited to just knowing what their company does. Whereas when I joined audit, I've done oil and gas, I've done multi-level marketing, I've done manufacturing, I've done services, I've done pharmaceutical, I've done hire purchase, I've done automotive. So I've got to see how different companies do, how they function, what their culture is like in their own firm. I mean, even automotive, I've audited 2 to 3 different clients, different companies in the automotive industry. And just because they're in the same industry doesn't mean they are exactly the same, the way they do things. They do things from a bookkeeping perspective very different, from just a office culture, people culture kind of thing also very different. So it's quite interesting. I mean, I wouldn't be able to see all these things if I didn't join audit. Or even going for inventory counts, stock takes, going for fixed asset sightings to look at the company's assets. Let's take automotive again. When I was young, I used to look at Proton advertisements on the TV, how they show you that conveyor belt, they're assembling the car with robot arms and stuff like that. I've been to a factory and seen it with my own eyes. I don't have to see it on TV. So I wouldn't have gotten this kind of experiences unless A, I joined an automotive manufacturing company, or B, I joined audit, I get to see this and so much more.
See, okay, that's interesting because I think throughout my journey here in PwC, I've heard colleagues, right, especially in the audit practice, right, to done quite a lot of interesting work. One I've seen climbed up like a telecommunication tower, right, to make sure that they capture the data and whatever. And that was one experience that they have also shared with me. And then I've also heard colleagues, right, because they need to audit, especially those in the what do you call that? In the cruise industry, right? Okay, let's just say tourism, but specifically in cruise, right? Then they actually get to travel in cruise as well. And I was
Correct,
like,
yeah.
wow, okay. I wish I would have done that, right? And I would have been able to get onto the cruise, right? For free as well. But I guess a bit all of that, right? I think what really stuck out to me when I listened to different individuals sharing their career perspective is this, because PwC is such a big organization, right? And there are so many clients that you work with. Each different industry will be able to provide you different sort of experience and opportunity for you in your role, right? And that's then the opportunity or the kind of experience that you will not be able to get from anywhere else. And I think that really resonated with also what a lot of people would look for in their experience, I hope, because at the end of the day, to provide you a job, I think anyone will be able to, but to provide you a career, right, with meaningful purposes, I think that's then, one that I would say is what we talk about here within PwC, really aligning with also, of course, our purpose, right, building trust in society and solving important problems as well. Okay, so Farah, I then wanted to touch on that, right? So far, have you been able to do any of that yet, or you're still waiting for the opportunity to come?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the opportunity because I guess, I don't know, although I've been here for 2-ish years, there's still a lot of things that I want to do and haven't done yet. So I'm still waiting for the opportunity. Yeah.
I see. Okay, never mind. I'm sure there will be quite a lot because from what I hear, right, definitely very interesting, kind of jobs that they do. And then I think one that I also heard previously, right, and I was a big fan of this, right, because shopping is obviously something that I enjoy quite a lot, right, and I think one of the colleagues share when you are in the fashion industry, right, you get to go in and do stock take, and after that subsequently look at all the stocks, right, and even some of the branded ones, you can also see it before anyone else does as well. So I was like, wow,
Yeah.
okay, that would be a dream come true for me, right? Because I do enjoy my shopping. So then that was something that also caught my attention right away when they share. Okay. Okay. So I think maybe just last question, right, before we close off. And this I am actually quite interested to hear, because it talks about support from PwC, right? When it comes to pursuing your non-work related goals. For example, volunteering, sports, or even musical instrument interest as well. Have you had any sort of, activities in this area, and what are some of them, the other supports that you were able to get as well?
Right. There's definitely a lot of these activities. Like one of them is Kaki Jalan. So we get awarded for those who take the most steps during the week. And then we also have our away days where we go off for a little holiday together with the whole department. And I've actually performed there as well, like during the away day dinner. What else are there? I think there's also some music societies and a lot of volunteering works where we get to teach children and plant mangrove trees. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
Okay. Edward, how about for yourself?
I'm actually quite musically inclined. I play multiple instruments, and I've always been asked to play for firm events, even our Toastmasters club. So
okay.
The firm is quite supportive. I mean, I'm sure some of you out there like to play Dota as a computer game or things like that. When we have our inter-firm games or even inter-department games, Dota is now recognized as also one of the competitions. So you can see the Big Four and other audit firms splitting it off in Dota competitions between firms as well, doing our inter-firm games. So that's quite amazing. Back when I first joined, we didn't have this, but I think a couple of years back started, and now it's a continuous thing.
Yeah. Okay. Esports, right? And I think that's something that's definitely in the top of mind for a lot of the young graduates, right? And I'm actually quite encouraged to hear all of this that that has been rolled out, and you have actually took part in it. I think when it comes to CSR, we also do have community outreach program, right, as I would have called it, where we go out there to teach the younger ones, and also giving back our and doing our part, right, in giving back to the society by planting mangrove tree. Okay, and then subsequently, of course, if you're a big fan of sports, right, then definitely, whether it be it esports or even other sports, right, there are also sports that we participate within the firm, and then subsequently, of course, among the other Big Four as well. And I guess Farah touched on one of the activity that I enjoy the most, but because of Uncle COVID, then we didn't manage to get to enjoy that as much this year, which is the away day, right? Because that is then really one initiative where we all get to go out together as a team, right? And then subsequently spend time outside of work and build relationships and try to get to know each other. And I think that's really important as well, right? Because at the end of the day, I mean, like it or not, when you work, right, you definitely see your colleagues more than anyone else, right? So then hence being able to build that relationships is quite important and quite crucial. And I think then that was one initiative that the firm has put in place for any employees to be able to enjoy as well. Okay, so okay, thank you, and that's really quite a lot of insights, just through the 30 minutes session that we have had. And I hope the rest of you who have actually joined us have been able to get insights, right, as to what sort of culture, or not to say culture, but what is it like, working at PwC, and one that's coming from a non-accounting graduate, and one that's an auditor for the past few years, right? And hopefully that then gives you a different perspective generally within working in PwC. So I guess with that, by closing it off, right? Maybe Edward, you can share with us, a word of advice, right, to a lot of the graduates that's out there, who is potentially pursuing and looking at their career, right, when it comes to after graduation, and what would that advice be? And Farah, maybe you can also share some of your experience, and what is one key takeaway that you have gotten, right, so far from your 2 years in transitioning into your role within PwC.
Okay, I would say that for most of us, we don't know what we want to do. Even after we graduate, we still don't know what we want to do. When I graduated, I also didn't know what I wanted to do. So there is always no harm in trying. I mean, even if it doesn't work out, you still gain experience end of the day. And this can become a story that you tell other people later. Like what you've been through, what you tried doing. So I wouldn't force people to join audit, but I think there's so much to learn. There's abundance of things to learn just being in the firm. And to touch on a question just now also, I think somebody was asking about interfirm transfers. It is possible if they're opening. So if let's say you worked in audit for 2 or 3 years and you found out there's something else in the firm you want to do, if there's an opening, you can always try. And if you're successful, yeah, you can do transfers within the firm itself. So nothing's really wasted. It's just that when you don't even try in the first place, then you never know what could have possibly happened. So don't be scared. Take that first leap of faith, and you don't know what could happen after that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Edward. Farah?
Yeah, I think like Edward said, definitely don't be afraid. Whatever, if you want to try it out, make sure you go for it and give it your all. Don't give up because it will definitely get tough sometimes, but like every other job, it is going to get tough sometimes. So whatever that you choose to do, just go for it and make sure you don't give up. Give your all, and I'm pretty sure whatever that you choose to do, you'll be okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for those words and experience that you have shared, throughout the session, right? And if I can really also just put it all together, I think one key thing that I heard, right, and I think that's also going to be my advice as well, right, is be resilient, because I think especially now with this world that we're living in, right, we're never really going to know what's going to happen, right? So being resilient, I think is very important, especially during a time like this. And I guess then, the other point I also wanted to just close up with, right, is also being agile, right? And I think the more so or not now, especially in this pandemic that we're living through, being agile is definitely key, right? And that's what you will be able to survive in that sense, right? And also to be able to upskill and to be able to be the differentiator. And it's really through that agility where you will be able to stand out as compared to the others. Okay, and I hope with that, you will also hear, through experiences that, Edward has shared and also what Farah has shared, and being able to relate to it as well, of what was basically shared during that session. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I'll probably then, pass this session now back to our MC, Yinwei.
Oh. So thank you, Kent, Edward, and Farah for the great session. This marks the end of the webinar, and we hope you all enjoyed it. So this is also a reminder that we will be having the last webinar for Career Fair at 8 p.m. Malaysia time later in a bit with UMW, so do join us as well. And once again, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone.
Hi guys, I'm Farisha from Team Graduan, and I'm proud to tell you that the virtual Malaysian Career Fair is back this 26 to 28 March. Get ready to meet and interact with leading Malaysian employers from the comfort of your home. Here's how you can register to the Malaysian Career Fair and begin the hunt for your dream job. First of all, visit the malaysiancareerfair.co.uk and click Register Now on the top right corner. Fill in the necessary details. The red asterisks indicate compulsory fields. And this includes your resume. Let us know your top 6 preferred employers and click Confirm. Leading Malaysian employers can now view your resume and interact with you.
Easy, wasn't it? You can even register through the Grad1 app. Here's how.
Just download the Grad1 app on the Play Store or App Store. Click on the Events tab and click the Malaysian Career Fair. Fill in the details required. Once done, verify your email and complete the Grad1 profile. Employees can't see your account if you don't complete your profile.
It's that simple. Get online this 26 to 28 March to meet leading Malaysian employers. Change your life to meaningful careers today!